Today, we answer the biggest questions regarding the Dallas Stars blue line. Like, can Miro Heiskanen reach a Norris Trophy level, or is Liam Bischel ready to take that next step? And plenty more on today's episode of Locked On Stars.
You're Locked On Stars, your daily podcast on the Dallas Stars. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Howdy, Stars fans. I'm Joey Erickson, former producer of 105 Through the Fan. Please be sure to subscribe. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. And as always, thank you so much for making us a part of your day and making us your first listen. Welcome to a Thursday edition of Locked On Stars, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com and win $300 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. We're going to answer the biggest questions surrounding this Dallas Stars back end. Like, can Miro Heiskanen win a Norris Trophy? Can he at least play at a Norris level? Liam Bischel ready to take that next step, potentially be in the top four. Niels Lundqvist, that's just a question in itself. And are they experienced enough for a long, deep playoff run? We're going to dive into all of it. Also, are they better equipped this season than maybe they were last year in terms of surviving with injuries? And the training camp roster was also announced recently. So we'll get into that, which is always fun with training camp kicking off next week in Frisco. But do not forget the NHL Prospects Tournament is going to take place this weekend as well. You could watch it on Victory Plus on Saturday and Sunday. So hockey is already about to occur. Dallas Stars hockey specifically this weekend. But the first question we're going to dive into, can Miro Heiskanen play at a Norris Trophy level? I feel like every season we ask this question and I go out and I scream and shout from the rooftops, this is the year of Miro Heiskanen. And it just always seems to fall short. We always know the big question, really, that surrounds Miro and the potential for him to jump in to that conversation of winning a Norris Trophy. It's offense. Does he bring it enough? Is this year the year that he finds that extra gear offensively? Maybe scores double digits in goals and lights it up on the power play. A couple years ago, when he hit the 70-point threshold, he lit it up on the power play. 32 assists. He had 11 goals that year, 73 points in the 2022-23 season. He finished 7th in the Norris Trophy voting, and that's the highest he has reached since he's been considered for that award over the last, 5-6 years, or at least since he's started to make an impact. And, of course, been revered or at least seen by his peers. Now, we see it each and every season over the last couple of years. NHL Network puts out their rankings. You hear the conversation regarding him. He's easily top 5 when it comes to being regarded as just an all-around, just phenomenal defenseman. But he never seems to get the votes needed because the offense is lacking. But maybe this is the year with Glenn Gulletson in a power play that could be really dynamic, a power play that could really improve, or at least improve just a smidge. Because let's face it, the Stars power play under DeBoer, Steve Spott was pretty good. They were always top 10. It was very good if we want to be fair. But just a skosh better, maybe Miro thrives on that. And we all know he should already be a candidate. It's just about the offense. If he can get 75 to 85 points, I think he wins one. I just have a feeling at some point they'll be like, okay, the offense is there now. We know what he can do defensively. We know what he does in terms of defensive zone exits, what he does with controlled entries, all the other analytics and all that good stuff, but the offense is there. If he gets 75, 85 points, yes, he will be considered, and he'll finish in the top 3. And I know he did it when he hit 73 points, just because others just went berserk. I think that was the year Carlson just went crazy and had 110 points or something. But he is Noah's caliber. It's just a weird question to ask because it kind of answers itself. Like, can he play to that level? Well, he already is. He just doesn't get recognized in the voting process. So that's the first question. Now, the second, what's the ceiling for Liam Bichsel? What is the ceiling? Over the summer, there was an article, I believe it was redrafting his class, and he was ranked obviously a lot higher than this specific person had him. But he asked the question, I think it's a good one, is Bichsel a type of defenseman for the Stars that can eventually be top 4? Can he jump into that top 4 role, or is he more just a physical stay-at-home defenseman, plays with an edge that's more like your 5th defenseman, or he's on your bottom pairing? I like to think that he projects out as a player and a defenseman that has a pretty high ceiling. I don't know if he's top pair minutes, but I think he has the capability, and from what we saw out of his skill set last year, there should be no questions, at least I believe, he can be a top 4 defenseman in the NHL. He still moves pretty good for his size. We know what he brings in the physicality department. He hits everything in sight. He'll continue to improve as he continues to learn how to play defense at this level. He played, 30, 40 games last year, got to play in the postseason, so he got to have some of those experiences playing against some of the best players in the world in some of the biggest moments that will no doubt reap benefits for Dallas and himself. But what is his ceiling? Can he really crack into the top 4, or is he a few years out? Do we still need to see a couple years, or can he make that jump? Because if he is showing the signs of a guy that, okay, he's ready to take on some of these bigger minutes, playing against stiffer competition, high leverage minutes, so to speak, then the Stars are in pretty good shape. And then you can get really creative with your partners. That sort of leads to the other conversation. Do we get the righty-lefty balance? Does Miro play with Nils Lundqvist? Maybe not. I don't know if Nils is ready for that sort of jump, especially coming off a season-ending injury. And I think Nils, his ceiling, when we're talking about ceilings, probably your 5th guy, to be fair. I think he's sort of 5th. But do we see Miro and Esa Lindell? 2 lefties, but Lindell's someone, he's played on his weak side before with John Klingberg, but maybe they want that pairing. Hartley, Lyubushkin, they played the most out of any other pairing last year. Do they stick together? Or does Nils get the nod and he jump up? And this is where my question with Nils Lundqvist comes. Is he truly ready to be that role? Because this will be sort of the ideal world statement I made about Liam Bichsel last year. If ideally for Dallas, Nils Lundqvist is somebody that can partner up with Thomas Harley and play in some bigger roles, or just play a bigger role, and then they can move Lyubushkin down, and you can play Lyubushkin with Bichsel, or you have Petrovic as well. Don't forget about him. I think the Stars have some better depth than they did even a year ago, pre-trade deadline. Like, Petrovic is a guy that he looked really good with Bichsel, and let's face it, at points last year was a better option than Dumba and Lyubushkin, who were healthy scratched in that postseason series against Edmonton. So there are a lot of different options that the Stars can go with. But do they really want that pairings balance? This probably will never happen, but I'm just going to throw it out there. Petrovic and Miro. I know that's not your prototypical top pairing, but Miro's played with some guys that are more stay at home. We've seen that pass, like Polak back in his rookie year. He played with Suter. I think Petrovic isn't the most bizarre answer to that. I know he's 33, but Petrovic, Miro, if you really wanted the lefty-righty balance, then you could have Harley and Lundqvist, and then Esa Lindell, Lyubushkin. Like, that's a pretty, I think, decent core, decent group you're trotting out there. I don't think it would ever happen, But I think there is some options. And when you think about Petrovic and his role, because I think it's going to increase this year after what we've seen, I think it's clear he should have opportunity. He's going to crack the lineup more in the regular season than he has at all over the last couple of years. I think that's pretty clear. And the Stars, I think, will need him. Like he's going to have to fill in probably 25 games, and you have to expect injuries in all that. So this is my biggest questions revolving the Dallas Stars blue line. Ceiling of Liam Bischel. We know what Harley is in that bigger role, but can Bischel, we're projecting him out a couple of years, or ideally, if he steps up as top 4 defenseman, then you're looking really good. Miro, we know he is a Norris caliber defenseman, but does he get recognized for it? The offense has to come. And then the role of Petrovic and where he kind of lines up. And this sort of leads into my next topic. Are the Stars better equipped now to handle some of the injuries like they suffered last year than they were a year ago? We'll do that in just a moment. Today's episode of Locked On Stars is brought to you by FanDuel. The NFL season is here, and FanDuel is making sure you're ready for kickout with a can't-miss offer. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. FanDuel is awesome. It helps you bring live action to your phone. You can watch the action and bet on it as it unfolds. It makes every game more exciting. Tonight, you have the Commanders and Packers. Going to be a ton of fun at Lambeau Field. Whether you're watching your team or just keeping an eye on your fantasy lineup like I will. I got McLaurin on my fantasy lineup. He had an awful week 1. I'll be looking for him to have a nice bounce back. It's quick, it's easy, and it's fun. So are you ready to play? Download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com to place your first $5 bet. So I wanted to compare the Stars' expected opening night roster, or at least opening night blue line, with the opening night a year ago blue line against the Nashville Predators. And I have come to the conclusion, I believe that the Stars are better equipped, at least right now, than they were even a year ago to maybe handle some of the injuries from years past, or like from last year. If they had to go through, knock on wood, Miro Heiskanen, tragic injury, maybe not tragic, unfortunate would be the proper adjective there. But look at the opening night roster: Dumba, Harley, Heiskanen, Lindell, Lundqvist, Lyubushkin from a year ago. Those were your 6 defensemen: Dumba, Harley, Heiskanen, Lindell, Lundqvist, Lyubushkin. Now Dumba's gone. It's safe to say, even last year, Petrovic is a better option. That's an upgrade from Matt Dumba, Alex Petrovic. And that's even if Petrovic doesn't even play. He may not even be in the opening night lineup. He could just, as it looks now, he's sort of your 7th defenseman. He's going to be your Joel Hanley. But he's an upgrade. So your 7th defenseman is already an upgrade over somebody that played high minutes, like high leverage minutes last season. Played 21 minutes a night, maybe even more than that. So that's already an upgrade there. Lyubushkin should be dropped down the lineup, or he's going to play with Harley. And after what we saw out of Harley last season, we know that Harley can really cover up some mistakes. And let's face it, I think Lyubushkin, to be fair, Lyubushkin was actually rather good for Dallas in a lot of different areas. He blocked a lot of shots. He did bring some physicality, and he was pretty damn good on the penalty kill. Him and Lindell were awesome. They were the pairing that just ate up minutes and had a penalty kill that was number 1 in the NHL for 85% top 3, like 89 to 95% of the entire season. So he deserves a lot of credit. And maybe I shouldn't throw any more shade to him because he was rather good for Dallas. And if he is near top 4, it's not awful. Nils Lundqvist was making huge strides last year. Let's not forget that. Nils Lundqvist made huge strides last season. And I'm really looking forward to seeing him again. Over the last couple of years, he just continues to make these little steps. This could be the make or break campaign for Nils Lundqvist. And I said that a couple of years ago, but now it really feels like that. He has a chance to really grasp and take the bull by its horns to solidify himself as an NHL defenseman. Bischel is already better than Bischel a year ago because of the time and experience he got last year. So that's an upgrade as well. And you look at last year on opening night, Dumba, Harley, Heiskanen, Lindell, Lundqvist, Lyubushkin. This is already a better crew just by subtracting Dumba. Petrovic, a guy that didn't even sniff the postseason or the regular season, he's an upgrade over Dumba. Bischel's an upgrade over Dumba. Lundqvist is an upgrade over Dumba. So those are 3-4 guys you already have that are upgrades and hopefully play a full, of course, 82. But you have to, you have to just foresee injuries. That's just the game. But the Stars are in really good hands. And the great thing about this is, as Petrovic, if he is your seventh defenseman, you do run into some of those injuries, Petrovic can step in, and you're of course, you're going to have a drop-off, but it's not going to be astronomical. It's not a Brendan Smith. And I hate to throw some shade at Brendan Smith, but he was not very good. Just not a very good defender. You're not going to get with Petrovic. Petrovic is stable, and you already have a great pairing, or at least a likely combination with him and Bischel after what we saw. So that's an upgrade there. And you can look down, even I think the depth, if you look, even go down the AHL, you have a guy like Capobianco. He came up, played a bit. And don't forget about Vladislav Kolyachonok. That's another guy the Stars got in return for Dumba. A young 24-year-old that was with Pittsburgh last year. He's cheap too. That also helps. And he's 6'1", 194. And last season he played in 12 games with Pittsburgh. He has 74 total games in the NHL. And he's young. So that's another option that the Stars could use. If you're looking for somebody that maybe skates a bit better, has more of an offensive game, move the puck, well, then Kolyachonok could be a guy if you run into some injuries. So this is why Dallas is way better equipped to deal with injuries, because I don't believe there's as big of a drop-off between, let's say, Lyubushkin, your number 4 defenseman as of right now. If you look at him, there's not as big of a drop-off from your 4th defenseman to your 7th. And that's a good thing. I think the ceiling, we're talking about ceiling and floors a lot lately. The floor of this Stars D crew is higher than it was even a year ago with some of the subtractions they made. And at first glance, it may not seem that way, or just based off how the offseason has transpired. I wouldn't even have maybe believed that until you really just look down, look at where the Stars group is, compare it to even last year. It's pretty good. Even post-trade deadline, they brought in Ceci. Petrovic's a better option than Cody Ceci, if you ask me. Maybe not in certain roles, but where the Stars were playing him, certainly. I'll take Niels Lundqvist over Ceci at this point, too. I'll take Bischel. That's for damn sure. So I'm really, really happy and excited about where the Stars crew is. I think the Stars are going to have more stability. They are going to have more chemistry as a group with this dynamic of guys that have played together now over the last couple of years. And you got rid of some guys that were just detriments to the team. They were more hurtful than they were good, like a CC and Dumba. And the depth, I think, is not as bad as it has been in years past too. I think there's just some good options there for Dallas, because you're going to need, you have to have the Brendan Smiths and the Hanleys of the world, but I'd rather have that in like a Petrovic or even a Capobianco, and who knows, the Kolyachonok. Maybe he races out, has a great camp. Maybe he is your 7th defenseman. Let's not knock that out of question either. Maybe Petrovic's a guy that starts in the AHL again. We certainly see that. I'm sure they would like to have him there as a veteran presence, but I just believe there's a lot better options the Stars have now at their disposal than they've even had in years past. And maybe more importantly than any of this being said, do I believe this is a crew that can make a long postseason run? Do they have experience? No. They need to add some veteran presence. I think that's fair to say. Yes, they're going to have to go out and add somebody at the deadline if they really want to be I think, serious contenders. I think that's fair to say. But as a starting point, I think it's pretty darn good. And they have a chance to build on it. And you still have to take into account Bischel's young. These are guys that are continue to grow. This is really good experience each guy's going to get. And it's a good starting base for Golitzson. And looking forward to see where they go. But to be fair, yeah, like if that would probably be another big question. Is the depth championship caliber? No. I would 100% agree, 100% say no, but they will be fine. They'll be serviceable. And as we've said the last couple of years, they're going to have to find a way to add to it. And even, let's face it, even with a lot of the guys they had last, they still made it to a Western Conference final. I mean, some of the decors they've made, they've gotten to the Western Conference final. It's pretty crazy when you look at it stacked up against like the Floridas of the world. I know they're sort of an outlier, but even Edmonton, who the Stars have ran into, like it's pretty incredible the Stars have done even with that decor. And I think they're better now this year. So they have an opportunity to I think do really big things in Dallas. I'm looking forward to it. So yeah, those are some of my big questions. And I'm curious your answers to some of them as well. So let me know in the comments below how you feel about this blue line taking shape. This training camp is right around the corner, and that means training camp rosters have been announced. So let's dive into that here in just a moment. Today's episode of Locked On Stars is brought to you by Monarch Money. Most people can't name all their financial accounts or even what they're worth, whether it's 401ks, properties, investments. And when you don't have the full picture, you can end up leaving money on the table. And that's the worst. That's why we have Monarch Money. It's an all-in-one personal finance tool that brings your entire financial life together in one clean, easy-to-use interface, or on your laptop or on your phone. Monarch is built for people with busy lives. It puts together, organizes your finances. Monarch is for you. Does all the heavy lifting, able to categorize your spending. You can finally start to feel in control of your money, and you don't even have to touch a spreadsheet. Those can be really confusing, a lot of numbers. I'm not a real math guy. Monarch Money makes it easy, simple to use, and it helps you realize maybe we're spending a little bit too much in one certain area. You can dial back, you can save up for that trip you've always wanted to plan, save up with your partner, and you can have a lot more peace of mind knowing your financials are in the right area. So don't let financial opportunity slip through the cracks. Use code LOCKEDONNHL, monarchmoney.com in your browser for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com with code LOCKEDONNHL. Training camp rosters have been announced by the Dallas Stars. It kicks off next week, September 18th through October 4th at Comerica Center, team's practice facility in Frisco, Texas. Fans can RSVP also to attend the first 3 days of training camp, by the way. So if you're interested in that, go to the NHL.com, the Stars website, maybe not NHL.com, but the Stars website. And they have a link where you can go to RSVP if you want to go to the Comerica Center and watch the first 3 days of training camp. So be sure to do that. They also have your full training camp roster. So let's kind of go through it. I know this is going to be boring, but there's a couple of guys I did want to highlight. Your forwards, there's going to be 39. We're not going to go through all of them, but Francisco Arcuri, I think is how it's said, as with Texas and ECHL over the last couple of years. Oscar back. Of course, you got Nathan Bastian, Duchesne, Radek Faksa, of course, is back. Brandon Gorzinski, a draft pick from the Stars this summer. You also have Emil Hemming from the last couple years. Or a draft pick from a couple years ago, the first round pick. Cross Haynes. This is a guy that made the training camp roster. He's actually a North Texas native. He's from Dallas. He played with the Dallas Stars Elite. If I'm not mistaken, he played in North American Hockey League. I could have been wrong there. I think he's maybe suited up for a couple games, but he was in the USHL with the Lincoln Stars. And he played in a W. He played the last 3 years in the Detroit organization with the Grand Rapids Griffins. So he's a potential guy that could make an appearance on the Texas Stars. Sorry, it's his brother. Okay, it was his brother that played 34 games with Amarillo. It was his brother, Crew Haynes. Okay. All right. Because that name was familiar. So he played with the Rangers in the North American Hockey League. It's not this heinous brother, but his brother did. But some other players, Cameron Hughes, of course, the first pick by the Stars in the 2025 NHL draft, the Logan Stankoven sort of replica. He will also be joining the Stars at training camp. Which will be really cool and awesome for some of you fans there to be able to go out there and get their first look at Schmidt in person. On the blue line, pretty typical. You got Petrovic, you got Labushkin, you got Lundqvist, you got your Harleys, your Bischel, Tristan Bertucci. He had a really nice season in the OHL with Barrie. He will be there. Also, you have Kyle Luft. Mankato, Minnesota native with the Texas Stars will be there. And Gavin White. Gavin White was a guy that we talked about with Chris Chambers, sort of a dark horse that could have a really nice season. He played with Bischel a bit. So Gavin White. Trey Taylor, another guy we talked about with Chris, will also be at training camp. So 20 defensemen total, 39 forwards, and 6 goalies invited to training camp by the Dallas Stars. Your goaltenders, Antoine Bibeau, Casey DeSmith, Ben Cross, Jake Ottinger, Remy Poirier, and then Arno Tafinzi. I got to get that one correct. I'm going to have to get a pronunciation on that. Maybe we'll get it this weekend at the prospect games with Brian Ray and Brent Severin on the broadcast. Because he's supposed to be on that roster as well. So that's that German netminder that may have a shot to play for Texas. Maybe he's in the ECHL with Idaho. But that's a young goaltender that's being brought in. I think many are starting to turn their heads towards. So those are your training camp rosters. Again, kicks off September 18th. So next week it will run to October 4th. The Stars will play 4 preseason games as well. Their first preseason game starts on the 20th. So just next weekend against the St. Louis Blues. So yes, hockey, Dallas Stars hockey is here this weekend with the prospect games, training camp. And we'll be right in the thick of things. So a lot of excitement upcoming for the Dallas Stars, and just good to have hockey back. It's good to be back into another rhythm here, and looking forward to. I was just thinking about last night, man. I can't wait for the Stars to get going again. I miss Stars hockey. I look forward to coming home each night, popping on the TV, and talking about each and every game like it's life or death. And as we all know on this podcast specifically, I have all the answers, and I will give you the answers after each and every game this upcoming season. So don't miss out on all the answers. You're going to be better for it. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know some of your biggest questions maybe I didn't bring up or didn't answer here on today's episode of Locked On Stars in the comments section. Subscribe, hit the notification bell, never miss an episode. Thank you as always for the love and support. Do want to say a quick little note on 9/11, of course, today. Obviously, we'll never forget that day. As Americans, I was 2, I think, when that occurred. Yeah, I would have been 2 years old. I'm not even 1.5, which is pretty crazy, or 2.5 maybe, whatever, doesn't matter. But I want to appreciate all the first responders. Say thank you to those that ran to help out and responded to that tragedy, and all those that lost their lives. I'm sure many people, of course, have connections with 9/11 in different circumstances, and just a day of remembrance for what occurred 20-something years ago. Really, really sad day. Just a really sad day in general. So did want to bring that up as well, and thoughts and prayers with their families, of course, that have suffered without their loved ones because of what happened on that day. But thank you again, Stars fans, and we'll see you in the next episode. So long.